Today, I'm answering my most commonly asked question, which is, how did I go from being a software engineer who quit art to eventually working professionally in the animation industry in only the span of 2 years? It's finally time that I drop that secret Kaycem art formula so that you too finally take your art growth seriously. Well, I have a confession to make. I don't actually have a formula, or at least I can't guarantee that what worked for me will work for you. But let me share how I turned my abandoned passion into my profession. Now, before we get into the how, I think it's important to answer why I wanted to get back into art after not doing it for so many years. To be honest, I just wasn't happy with my job. Despite it being stable, high paying, high impacting, and all the other tech buzzwords, it left me feeling empty. On the flip side, drawing was something I loved doing as a kid, and for reasons I'll share in a different video, it pained me that I had to step away from it after dropping out of art school. And so, after feeling miserable with my life, I wanted to try drawing again, even if it was just for a hobby. Hobby arc, first 6 months. For the first 6 months, my only goal was to see if I could even build a healthy drawing habit again. In the past, I made the big mistake of setting unrealistic goals only to get burned out weeks later. And so this time, I committed myself to only drawing 10 minutes every day before I went to work. After about 2 months of consistency, I built up a routine of drawing 2 hours a day. And if you want to hear more about that, make sure to check out this video. But as for what I was actually drawing, I really wanted to undo all the shortcuts, art hacks, and drawing habits I had learned when I was younger. And so, like many artists out there, I started binge watching every single art tutorial video I could find, from gesture drawing, anatomy, perspective, and everything in between. However, there was a fatal flaw with my studying approach that eventually came back to haunt me. In these first 6 months of my hobby arc, I also started live streaming my drawing process on Twitch. I honestly just did it because I wanted to make some art friends online, but also I thought it would maybe hold me accountable if people were watching me too. Surprisingly, being a part of an art community was actually pretty helpful. Not only that, but I also made some money from my art streams and managed to snag some commission work. I drew anything from graphics for other people's streams and also the occasional fan art, and no, it wasn't the furry variety, though I hear that pays well. By the end of my 6 months, not only was I happier that I was drawing again, but because I made like maybe $100 with my art, I thought that maybe I could actually be a full-time artist. And so with no hesitation, I quit my software engineering job, and everything after that was smooth sailing. Psych! Freelance Arc, 1 year. My freelance arc lasted about a year, and let me tell you, the first half of it was as rough as it gets. I thought that since I made a few dollars as a hobby artist, that I could pay for all my bills by taking any type of commission work that came my way. But I didn't actually have a game plan to find these said commissions, and the ones I did get weren't even for the type of art I liked doing. What I would have done instead is try and figure out first the type of art that I wanted to make, and then try to find a community that would actually be interested. But there was actually a bigger problem that I had. Do you remember earlier when I talked about that fatal flaw? Throughout this whole time, I was binge watching so many random art tutorials, but was I actually growing? I spent more time watching art tutorial videos instead of actually spending time applying what I learned. Not only that, but I was lost with what I was supposed to even study. It's not like I could just go to art school and follow some curriculum, right? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I could follow art school curriculums without going to art school. I mapped out the curriculum topics with the corresponding videos and books and all of the similar themes, and with that, the latter half of my freelance arc was lined with a path to not only make money with the type of art I wanted to make, but I could also see the way forward for improving my skills. Except,
leave me alone!
Imposter syndrome. Art burnout. I forgot about my mental health. It's a common struggle among artists, but I knew that in order to have a healthy and long-lasting relationship with my art, I needed to take care of myself first. It was a revelation that changed everything for me. Therapy has been an invaluable tool in my journey towards better mental health. It helped me work through my imposter syndrome, find new sources of inspiration, and discover a path forward with my career. But with that, let's talk about how I spent the 6 months grinding my way into getting a job in the animation industry. Studio grind arc, 6 months. When I started my art journey, the last thing I wanted to do was work in a studio. I had just come out of the corporate tech world, and honestly, I wasn't excited about having to work for a boss on some random project that I didn't even care about. That is, until I saw this one post on the internet. We're hiring character designers for our first feature. Avatar Studios, the creators of one of my favorite shows about a bald boy, was hiring artists? It was in this moment that I was reminded of why I started drawing in the first place. Shows like Avatar: The Last Airbender, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, One Piece all inspired me to pick up a pencil when I was a kid and start actually creating my own stories. And if I could help Avatar Studios create a new show that inspires future generations, I felt like my life would be complete. But I had no experience, no portfolio, and no confidence in my art fundamentals. What could I possibly do? Like any unprepared person, I did the only thing I knew to do, which was cram. I drafted out a 30-day bootcamp for myself that covered anatomy for the first half and then character design for the second, and hopefully by the end of the 30 days, I would have a strong art portfolio to submit to Avatar Studios. The plan was perfect, and after those 30 days, I learned something very important. I was not ready at all. I mean, yeah, my fundamentals definitely improved, but I had no actual idea what a character designer even did. In the whole time I've been drawing characters, I only focused on their aesthetics. And so I put the goal of Avatar Studios behind me and decided to study the masters instead. Now, you may have heard this art advice already in the past about studying the old masters like the Ninja Turtles, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo. But what I wanted to learn was what the responsibilities were for a character designer in TV animation. So I looked at my favorite shows, found the artists who worked on those shows, and then found their portfolios. And what I learned was surprising. Character designers were responsible for so many things beyond just coming up with cool characters. They had to do character turnarounds, different clothing variations, face expressions, and even dynamic poses. But more importantly, they did something that I wasn't doing with my own character designs. Beyond the aesthetics of the character, great character designers were also able to convey the mannerisms of the character, who they were in the story, and most importantly, what their purpose was. I went back to the drawing board and started redesigning my own characters with a new purpose-driven mindset. After the 6 months since seeing the Avatar Studios post, I managed to scrap together a portfolio mixed with personal drawings, freelance work, and commissions, and I was finally ready to submit my application for the job. Did I get it? Like I said at the beginning, I can't guarantee that what worked for me will work for you. Each person's reasoning for pursuing their passions will be different and unique. For me, it was about happiness, and then it led to wanting to make inspiring stories for others. If it feels scary to pivot dramatically, don't be afraid to take that first step and work gradually towards your passion. You'll never know where you'll go until you actually start. And as for Avatar Studios, I didn't get the job. But all that hard work opened up more opportunities to getting my first industry job and eventually working on some of the coolest animated shows that I can't wait for you all to see. But with that, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to draw, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace.